Hello and welcome to another episode of AWS This Is My Offer. I'm Marco Kormann Rodrigues, EMEA Partner Solution Lead for Retail and Consumer Goods. And on this episode, we're hearing from Strategy, an AI and BI software company pioneering AI advancements for business intelligence. I'm joined today by Jeff. Jeff, would you like to introduce yourself and your role at Strategy?
Certainly. Thank you, Marco. Privileged to be here today. Jeff Dyer. I lead North America sales for Strategy and excited to have an opportunity to speak with our great partner AWS on how we jointly impact the retail market.
Great. Well, many thanks for being here, Jeff, and welcome. Okay, so today we're going to hear about how Strategy on AWS helps global retailers and brands on their data, AI, and BI journeys. So perhaps, Jeff, can you give us a brief overview of what Strategy is and share a little bit about what sets Strategy apart from other business intelligence companies?
Certainly. Thanks for the question. Well, to start out, Strategy is a newly released new name for the company as of just a few weeks ago. So most of your viewers here listening in would probably relate or understand the background name or MicroStrategy, which was a company that was founded in 1989 and really one of the very first BI platforms, an originator in the space, if you will, in the pervasive BI market. We've changed our name and rebranded just a few weeks ago to Strategy. And as an originator and leader in the BI space, I think the name change is symbolic of what we are now doing as the first BI company to have a commercially available generative AI solution that integrates the concepts associated with BI and the user experience and the advancements in generative AI together in a united governed platform that runs natively in AWS as a native cloud service, but brings the historical requirements of BI together with the current user requirements and experiences that it's changing the world relative to generative AI.
Yeah, and that's great. And yeah, I'm very familiar with Strategy, and MicroStrategy was in retail for many years now.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about what kinds of problems that Strategy are helping retailers solve today?
Certainly. I don't need to educate you or AWS on the dynamic nature of retail, but it's fast-paced. It has to respond to market trends incredibly quickly and efficiently. And the vastness and the complexity of the data is far from trivial, from the vendor and supply chain side to the way that merchandisers think about promotions and inventory and restocking and replenishment, to the way that you enable a store operator or an associate at a store level to interact with customers, either directly or through the omni-channel components of a retail business today, all of which are data-centric in every regard, and all of which have a very different user experience for those functional roles, but yet the data is very interdependent between how you think about the supply side, the merchandising components, and then how you ultimately impact your customers via commerce channels and or in person at the store level. And so we've had a vast and rich history in the retail market, largely because of the complexity around the data and our unique approach to how we manage the user experiences, not only for how we would support a data scientist or a business analyst with the tools that they need to understand, very complex patterns within the data and to derive insights, but more importantly, by optimizing a very unique and tailored end user experience for the frontline workers in each of those functional roles. So we have a rich history together servicing the retail client base, and I think it speaks to the advancements in our joint technology and what we've been able to do to respond to the pace and the speed and the demands that are unique to retail.
Yeah, no, that's great. And within the retail industry, you're very well established. And perhaps you can share some of the success stories or case studies that really illustrate how Strategy has been helping retail customers achieve their business goals.
Certainly. Without divulging names, and I know they can find lots of customer logos on our respective websites together, but you think about a large grocer that has a wide footprint of stores, and the demands that a store has and the extremes on which their inventory works on a day in, day out basis. It takes a lot of human capital typically to support those environments, not just the enabling technology, which we do, but I know in one of the great customer case studies that we've exhibited together, we have a large supermarket chain that's gone on record and said that with the way in which we interact with the data across their enterprise and unify it such that they can be highly responsive to the different user categories within the company, after using our joint solutions, they felt like they quantified 150,000 hours of human capital that on an annualized basis otherwise historically was required to just do data manipulation and data pipeline management just to service the unique needs of their end constituents in their business, as an example. Another one that stands out is, a large home goods provider in the United States that probably many of you listening in the United States would visit on every Saturday morning to start your weekend. They, over the course of time, developed a vast number of reports that are critical to the stores and how they operate. I think the number was north of 35,000 unique reports, which again requires a lot of overhead and human capital to just manage change and manage the flow of data that feeds those reports. They were able to, leveraging strategy, reduce that number down to 400 that were not diminished in the value, but very optimized for each store and dynamic in how they could be serviced without, again, the burden of human capital that has to make changes on a continual basis, but simplifying the way in which they could interface with the stores without sacrificing the insights and the demands that the store has to operate and run their business efficiently.
Yeah, no, that's great. And yeah, I'm familiar with the UK grocer in question, and that is a great data story and definitely a retailer at the cutting edge of using data to drive decisions. So yeah, that's a
Exactly
great
right.
one.
Exactly right.
Okay, so I mean, in listening to your story today, it definitely sounds like strategy. You've got a unique position in the market. I'd like to just double click a little bit on the generative AI component. And can you talk us through a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely. I think we were ready for this one. And one of the things that strategy's been known for throughout its 30 plus year history is the way that we think about governance for data. It's central to our platform and strategy one and how we operate from a BI perspective. And not all use cases and not all users of BI tools have always thought about governance, maybe with the criticality or the importance that now AI has brought right back to the surface. And when AI became conversational, 2-3 years back, and everybody wanted to figure out how can we embrace and leverage these LLMs, the number one concern, while endeavoring to try to find a way to optimize the productivity of the workforce, was then all of a sudden the protection of the data and not having companies' data, in this case, be exposed to an outside model that then could be leveraged for that model's learning, but potentially putting an organization at risk for the privacy and sensitivity of their special and unique data. So one of the strengths that strategy has always been reliant on with our customers for the way that we govern enterprise data for BI reporting. We actually were very quick in responding to the needs of the market and brought out the first generative AI experience that not only allowed the call it chat GPT like interface where I could just ask a question verbally or in writing and get a set of answers without having to know anything about the data. And then again, through a narrative, ask it to give me a visualization or ask it to give me a report or ask it to alter that feedback in any given way and go through that entire experience that's very refined and focused to the knowledge worker that's interfacing with the bot or with the generative AI interface, but knowing that the answer itself, the result set itself, was leveraging an LLM to derive the answer set, but then the answer set itself was protected and derived just from the enterprise data that not only was protected within the organization, the retailer in this case, but more importantly, the data that individual has access to, and that individual, based on their roles and the definitions and the security protocols in an organization, have the right to see from a governance standpoint. And so I think we were able to respond very quickly and solve a problem that still is challenging in the market, but give our respective customers both the the additional user interface and capabilities associated with generative AI, which is an amazing experience that we're all taking advantage of and learning how to be more efficient in our daily routine, but doing so in a way that's governed, that's secure, and that's very tailored and accurate to the individual knowledge worker that's interfacing with that experience. And again, just leveraging some strengths that we've always had in BI in this new paradigm where you blend AI concepts with BI concepts.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's definitely something which is top of mind for a lot of our customers as they embark on that AI and Gen AI journey. How do they ensure that the right governance and guardrails are in place?
Right.
So yeah, so it's great to hear how you've approached that and how you're helping customers solve for that. Okay, so for prospective customers interested in learning and engaging with strategy, what's the best way to connect with you? Can you walk us through what that looks like? How the engagement with sales team looks like?
Most certainly. Well, with our partnership here with AWS, the easy button, if you're listening to this recording with Marco and I, is just to go to the AWS Marketplace, and under strategy, you'll find an offer there. And if you need a custom offer, there's a method for you to interface with both of us, and we'll be happy to work with you and engage and tailor a private offer. But really, we're in the marketplace. We have a very talented set of solution engineers on both sides that have done many implementations for retailers around the world together, and are experts in analytics and all things data, and certainly now generative AI experiences. So a great opportunity for us to work together to help retailers that are maybe looking at this and looking at how they can leverage AI, be it at the store level or in merchandising or on the supply side of their business. It's a great opportunity for us to help add additional value for them together.
Okay, perfect. And before we wrap up, any final message or call to action you'd like to share with the audience?
So I think we're at an inflection point in human history where a lot of the right technical enabling pieces have come together to allow this quantum leap forward in user engagement or user experience with an unprecedented access and reach to data like never before. I think generative AI is going to change the world as we know it. We're all living in a dynamic moment in time, and I think AWS and strategy are very well prepared to enable organizations to take advantage of the events that are happening in the world that are changing all of our lives right now in a very practical way to optimize your business. So hopefully we can entice you to engage with our teams and help you understand how we can help your business the way we've helped hundreds of other retailers around the world be on the cutting edge of how they harness data to make the right decision for the right individual on a day in, day out basis to best serve their customers.
Yeah, definitely exciting times. Well, excellent. Thank you very much, Jeff. It's been a pleasure. And thank you very much for being such a great partner. And we look forward to our continued partnership.
Thank you, Marco, and thanks, AWS. We agree. We're excited about what we've done and even more excited about the potential of what we can do together moving forward.